Hi, this is Andy Cruz with Worldwide Credit Corporation, and the title of this video is When Do I Lock My Loan? Well, there are many answers to this question, so here are some variables to consider. The first is, which way are rates trending? Are they trending up? Are they trending down? Both of these are important because essentially every day that the stock market is opened, so is the bond market, which is creating mortgage rates. And we have to make sure we're connected to these closely to understand which way we're trending. Now, we also have to know why rates are moving a certain direction. This could be because of headlines, the economy, the stock market itself, and the bond market, and other market factors. Depending on the season of the year, depending on what's happening in the political climate, the economic climate, there are a lot of different variables that change the inflow and outflow of money where mortgages are created. Another thing to consider is, how soon is my loan closing? Now, this is a really good question, but depending on what part of the process we're in, it may not even be the right time to lock because we're really far away from a point in time that you'd be closing. So knowing when the loan closing date is important, but we also got to make sure we don't lock too early, and that could result in us locking higher, especially if the market's trending down. Now, the stage of the loan process is important. And really the question here is, have all steps been concluded so that locking will result in closing? And there are so many different parts of the loan process that includes all of the other entities and third-party providers and the realtors, the clients themselves, myself as a loan officer, all the pieces between underwriting, and we have appraisal. There's a lot of things. So we need to make sure that when we're having the locking conversation, we're taking all of these into context. Which way are rates trending? Why are they doing this? What's causing it to happen? When is my loan closing? And then what stage of the loan process are we in? I had a conversation with a client a while ago, and I said, which way do you want to be upset? And he says, well, what do you mean? I said, if we lock in a rate and rates are lower in the morning, you're going to be upset. But if we wait to lock and they're higher in the morning, you're going to be upset. So which way would you like to be upset? And I didn't ask the question to be abrasive at all. I was just simply asking, we have a decision to make. Based on what we know to be true, which way would you like to proceed? Lock right now and risk it could be lower in the morning, or wait and risk it could be higher the next day? So that being said, there are a couple of things you need to be aware of. The first thing is what I call the rate quoters. Now, rate quoters are people I think sometimes just need work. Now, this isn't always true, and getting a rate quote is important. But here's the problem with that. The next day when the market opens, that rate may not be valid anymore. So until your loan is actually locked, getting a quote on a rate is simply a quote on a rate for the day that you got it. So the important part is that you know what the rate is on an ongoing basis. That may require you contacting us. That may require you having a little more market knowledge of where to look for rates. So just be careful that when you're getting a rate quote that you understand it's for the date and for the scenario of that day. Now, I don't mean to be offensive to people who do rate quoting, but there is another element of this, which is marketing and strategy. And they want to quote a lower rate to you to get you to come to their bank and to use them. But the hesitation I have there is that unless they know as much or more about you and your scenario than we do, then really all they're doing is giving you a rate quote based on nothing more than their guess of what they hope you can prove in documentation. Now, you also have to beware of advertising. Advertising. And here's why. Because, quote, 30-year loan doesn't always mean fixed. Even adjustable loans are still amortized on a 30-year basis. However, your payment will fluctuate based on the index the loan is tied to. An advertised rate is not the same as the market price that's available when you're looking at a live pricing platform. So if we're online and we have your scenario and I'm looking at it actually or in the live trading market, that's live pricing. And sometimes when you read the fine print of a, quote, 30-year loan, you'll find that in order to give you the rate they're quoting you, they have to charge you discount points. So be careful of that. And ask the question, what is this costing me to lock this loan? Remember, advertising is advertising. It is not live pricing. And advertising is not taking into consideration all of the components of your loan scenario that generate the rate that you'd be given. So, should I buy down the rate? This question comes up often. And the answer is maybe. This really just comes down to strategy. And simply, strategy is the plan of action designed to achieve a particular goal. And the reason I say maybe is because it depends. It depends on your tolerance as a person and as a spender in your budget. It also depends on the situation. How much does the buy down cost? Does it make sense to buy down? Because what you're really doing in the buy down is you're using current dollars to save future dollars via monthly savings on your mortgage payment. So the question is, does that make sense to do? Does it make sense to you? It doesn't matter to me, but does it make sense to you for your budget? Does it make sense that you spend cash that you have saved in reserves right now to buy the rate down in order to save a little bit monthly along the way? So I guess you could say this really just comes down to math, and there's absolutely no problem with that, because when we peel back the layers of the black and white nature of the math, it might be evident that a buy down is definitely in your favor, or on the flip side of the coin, it may be evident that the buy down is definitely not in your favor. And again, it comes down to your personal strategy. And it comes down to your tolerance as a homeowner, or even if this is an investment home that you're buying, or even if you're refinancing. In any of these situations, it's going to come down to what your desired outcome is and what the goal is that you're trying to achieve. So, if you have more questions about when to lock my loan, the buy down, things to be aware of, just give us a call and we'd be more than happy to help you get clarity and make sure that you're making the right choice when you are buying and refinancing a home so that you lock a loan that helps you achieve the outcomes that you're looking for.